learned to an election. Live in the hills, but I still get a spread. Started with a little, but I still reinvest it. Fear how I feel, then you feel like a blessing. I just want the lesson, I just want protection. I'm up and I'm down, but they sound like progression. Farmer never plans if he waits for perfection. Finger to the down, hold it down, we gon' get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got your Watchlist coming into May 19, 2020, and the stock market broke a record today. It was all because of Mr. Powell plus another vaccine, Moderna. That's what caused this big run-up. We closed up 911 points. However, the record was, this was the most stocks that have printed green at open ever. So pretty much right when the market opened, you had about 2,049 companies all print higher. That it pretty much never has happened. That's a lot of companies all going green. And even then, I know we like to pay attention to the volatility and all that. We were halted limit up today in the morning. And then, well, we had a lot of other stuff come out throughout the day. The interpretation, it held. It was good. So today was a very, very positive day. Now, some would say it's very negative because it shouldn't be positive. If there's all this negativity, we could talk about a lot. However, this gives us a very, very clear timeline that we're going to be looking ahead. I'm going to go over that. We're going to talk about some of the other stuff that happened today. Trump met with a lot of the restaurant owners. There was something that came out of that, but then also what's going on with this vaccine, but now the plays we need to make. So timing is going to be very important. I hope you guys are patient. I hope you're ready, but let us not delay. Let's get right into it. You guys know what you need to do. Drop your thumbs up on the video. Make sure you're subscribed. And if you don't know, we are live Monday through Friday, 30 minutes before open. It's the first link in the description and it is pinned in the comments. We better see you there in the morning. It's free $99. It costs you nothing to join. YouTube.com/thestockmarket. All we ask is that you're positive and respectful. You can post the plays, see the plays, anything, but be there live. Get the news live. And the most important thing you need to do, post or watch this below. Let us know what you're looking at. You got any plays, comments, remixes, anything. We need to source that information. Post it below. Some of you guys have been calling out some real nice plays. So let's source that info, baby. Shout out the call. I love you all. So right off the bat, the first thing in what we saw, again, what did Powell say in this 60 minutes thing? A lot of it was expected and was weird because he didn't say anything that was like, oh my gosh, groundbreaking. However, it was just positive reassurance. And then the double whammy with Moderna's vaccine, that is what drove the markets up today. But he pretty much gave off, this is something we talk about with central banking. This is that whatever it takes attitude. And I think he literally said he will do whatever it takes. I think that's a literal quote. But then one key thing that got out of it that was new was digital printing. He said pretty much there's a lot more tools they could use. They could do a lot of different stuff. And he says we could print digitally, though. So he's pretty much kind of reassuring that they are finding or they have a solution now to get money into the system as quick as possible, if anything. So this led to that record open, but this is going to buy us a month or two. And now, even then, and this was a big shift. So remember, we keep coming back to this. This is those negative rate expectations, the Fed futures. It's all changed. I mean, it kind of, actually, that's weird. It says that it went up today on the July, but I believe on the longer term, it actually ended up dropping. Yeah. So on some of them, but I think on the longer one, it should have went down. Yeah, a little bit there. So again, you're going to get volatility in the shorter one. Some people are like, well, now it's pricing in a cut, a raise, this and that. That's because there is bond volatility. One, you have the market moving as well as the Fed and everything else. But that being said, really what I'm expecting at two different timelines here. One is, in general, this is like last time Powell spoke in June 2019. Pretty much, I think this is going to buy us a month or two until the real quarterly data starts to hit or spook a little bit. And what I mean by bias a month or two is that it's going to just give us kind of a level of support or exuberance, more or less. But now in the grand scope of things with negative interest rates, how he was talking about it, it really reminded me of the repos and everything they did there. Pretty much he said, we're not going to use negative interest rates. He said, at least not this year. And really what it's looking at, he said they have a bunch of other tools. I think he's going to use all these tools. And if that fails, then they're going to go to it. And that's what happened with the repos. Remember, they said, well, we're going to use the repos. We're going to do this. And they started changing and making all these tweaks. But eventually, when the repos weren't enough, what did they do? They went to emergency cuts and then meeting cuts and then just started going from there. So I think the same thing is going to happen here. So, because again, that's a big step. I guess in a way, negative rates is like, it's just as big of a block as saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe the Fed did an emergency rate cut. Remember the first time that happened, it's the same thing because this would just be a true regime shift or something that we have never seen before and has a lot of implications. It's kind of crazy to think about. So it makes sense why he's not eager to do it, but it also depends on how things go. So if there's a second wave, and again, that could change the timeline here, because if there's an external force and then the second wave is just as bad, that is going to create some problems there, and then maybe they will need it. But it's pretty much the real giant bazooka. It's kind of weird because I think they shot the bazooka, but negative rates, I guess, and maybe that's the thing. Maybe they're just hyping it up and not using it to kind of give it more social power, if you really think about it. But all in all, though, that was important, and this was a big deal with the markets. But then next, it was just like Gilead and Remdesivir, Moderna, and they even had a shelf offering that came out there. They issued more stock to sell after hours, and the stock didn't get hit too hard, but that's going to be something you're going to see with these biotechs. However, Moderna had very, very positive results. I mean, it was just like Gilead, but if anything, I think it got taken better. But now, even towards the end of the day, you started to even see Moderna slip, but the markets kind of did their own thing. And really what I'm saying is that this vaccine is going to be a positive impact on the markets. The market is going to move like a biotech stock, and it's going to impact the market, and it will last until it doesn't. And that's exactly what you saw with Gilead and Remdesivir. So when we get to the plays, this might even be a play I might be looking at, is shorting Moderna, not just because I believe it's going to go down or anything, but that has kind of really just been this pattern or trend, is that these valuations are getting so crazy. The hype is getting really, really big, but we still have a long road ahead of us. So people are hyping it up. It's going up crazy, and then it's slowly trickling down. So we will see, though. And I'm scared of that play because I don't want to rush it, and if anything changes, and I don't want to get caught in that trap. So we'll see. But watch the range that it sets for the market in the broader sense, and then even for this week. This impact on the positive side is it's letting stocks move to a degree. It's like how much of this was Powell, how much of it was the vaccine. But even with this vaccine, what sort of ranges do we get topped out at? And that's giving you something, because at the end of the day, as more news comes out, or if things kind of get refuted, if we say, oh, the Fed's not doing this or that, whatever it may be, the goal is to try to get an idea of how much positivity or how much of the market is pricing, or how much the market is pricing in that vaccine. So there was a lot. Trump even said a lot about the vaccines and all that. And then the last thing, there was a meeting. We watched it towards the end of the day. It was great. It was like one of those roundtable meetings where they got all the restaurant execs, and it was weird, but a lot of things came up, and this is where I'm bringing this up. I'm going to pretty much go really deep on this on stream tomorrow, but just for those who are watching, and if you're interested, this is one thing that is going to take place, or that'll have an effect on the stimulus checks and what they plan to do, but an extension on this PPP, where these companies are asking for more time, not necessarily more money, but there is some specifics about how the PPP must be used and the timing of it that could pose a problem. So if they don't get this hashed out, that could even become a headwind in the future if this doesn't get fixed. Then the next thing they're talking about, and this is what kind of worries me for the second wave, I didn't think about it, but they were talking about it, it's the issues of reopening and then the expenses it's going to cost. So pretty much they're saying that, well, now when they try to partially reopen, they're losing more money than staying closed, because now, even though they're making some money and they're starting to reopen, they have to pay operating costs. So that's going to be a big, big problem we're going to see, because demand is a little bit messed up across the board. So these companies want to reopen. There's going to be a very, very big initial cash burn. And then the next thing was Tillman Fertitta. We won't talk about too much, but just again, there's going to be, with how he even was talking with Mnuchin, we want to see what sort of regulations. Again, Trump even said no fourth stimulus package. I think Kudlow said that, so we'll see. But any of these little changes we want to see. So again, that one wasn't too important. Credit utilization, we talked about that the other day. And then now, October 31st, this is going to be a date to watch, because this is where pretty much if they don't extend things, or if they do get 24 weeks, that's where it's going to push to. But around October 31st, and ironically enough, even where that lines up with the quarter, this is going to be a very, very important date. So keep that in mind. Happy Halloween. But that is pretty much it. So let us get into the plays. So right off the bat, the first play I made, and I really like this play. We're going to see there's two elements to it. It was discussed before, but we got Shopify. So I'll tell you the reason why we got it. But the play was a Shopify May 29th. I got 4 of the 600 puts, and I grabbed them at $1.40, I believe. And they went up. They went 100% at one point. We got them kind of throughout the middle of the day. I think like right here. Yeah, we got the first drop. They bounced and came back up. They went to like 3 something at first, but then they leveled out around like $2, I think. So we still got a nice gain on it. But the reason why I got this play was we listened, and a lot of people, I don't think they knew about it. You know, shout out Eagle Eye and the people on stream who called it out. We listened to it. Mark Zuckerberg was with like the EU. It's like some company. This guy was like self-promoting all over the place. But he was talking, and he said that tomorrow, they're going to come out with an announcement related to like e-commerce, and then there's going to be an update on like the Facebook marketplace. And then a lot of people even said this at the beginning of the May, they said they had something coming out. So some people asked, was this priced in from May 1st with Shopify? I would strongly say no, because that was their earnings. So I think it's going to come in. We'll see, but that's why I got the play. I spend a little bit more, but it just seemed like one of those news pieces that was a little bit slower. It's like news piece from a report, but instead of being like a day trade, quick move, quick flip, we're going to get the news tomorrow. So if anything, buy the news, sell the rumor. We'll see what happens with those. They had good premium. You could ghetto spread those. I'm going to hold them, but depending on what happens tomorrow, I'm going to try to at least make that play free tomorrow, sell out, get my initial investment back, and ride the rest. But it all really depends on the valuations, and we'll see. But that is a big piece of news I'm going to watch. So that's the first play I made. The second play I made was Facebook. So again, same logic of I said, well, we'll see what happens with them. And again, Facebook was outpacing or was lagging today, excuse me. Market went up 3%. They were only up 1.2%. But don't forget about that antitrust stuff. And that was even the thing. When Mark Zuckerberg was speaking there, they were pretty much saying that they want government regulation. Facebook is, Facebook's trying to play along with the government. And they're kind of saying, well, we can't do anything unless government gives us regulation. So give us regulation so we know what to do. But it was just weird in general. But I'm hoping that, let's say the news comes out and that Shopify stuff wasn't priced in and Shopify doesn't drop. Well, maybe something or some good news comes out with Facebook, or at the very least, we know there's news coming out with Facebook. So to kind of hedge that play and still get my hand in the cookie jar, I hedged that Shopify, or again, knowing news is coming up, I grabbed a Facebook next week. Shopify's were next week as well too. 232.50 call at 22 cents, and I only grabbed one of those. So I'm just holding that one through. And then both of those plays, you guys are going to start to see. Don't forget some of our older philosophies. I said this yesterday, because if we're going to get stuck in this range kind of before we get some moves, like there's going to be movements, but it's not going to be crazy large moves that are going to string together for like huge gains or anything like that. Pretty much what I'm saying is get one extra week. Remember, we used to do that. Just get one extra week, keep it short and sweet, but I'm going to be more prone to want to sell out of a lot of stuff, if anything. So there was that play. I did sell out 2 out of the 4 Home Depots. Remember, we had those 255s. So we got those. We spent 4 of them. I got them for like $200, bought them at $50 a pop. I sold them out at $3 each today. I sold 2 out of the 4, holding the 2. HD has earnings. And then lastly, where was the final play? Right here, we got Shopify. Or no, excuse me, Spotify. What am I saying? Well, here's the long term, and you guys can see we did actually a few different plays here. So the first play I made in the morning was I sold a covered call on Uber. So this time we sold a January 21st. I wanted to, again, remember we were selling the ones with like 1 month or 2 months at a time. You didn't see it. There you go. I caught that one early. But the January 21st one, it had more time. I got $180. So I was pretty happy with that. And pretty much I agreed to sell my 100 shares of Uber. Remember, we bought those last week. I pretty much agreed to sell them at $50 a pop, and we bought them at like $33, and then I collected $180. So this is a covered call. Someone literally paid me $180 to agree to sell them my Uber shares pretty much at double what I paid. So this is what we call the ghetto dividend, my friend, because what happened, I got that $180 by agreeing to sell the Uber, and then what did I do? I took that profit and I bought 5 more shares of Uber. So now you guys see here, I have 105 shares. I pretty much sold a covered call, turned it instantly to shares. It's like my ghetto dividend reinvestment plan. So there was that. And then for the smaller account, because remember, I didn't really buy too much on that smaller account. Remember, this account's like 2,600 total or something. Then the bigger one is like 16 and some change. It's like 21 combined for both of these. But for the small one, and the key here is looking at the net liquidity, got more growth. I bought 3 more shares of Spotify at 161. So I spent my monthly balance there, or my monthly allocation. We bought the Spotify. We're all in growth. We talked about next we should have got some of the value stocks that are down because our dollar was stronger, but the coin told us what to do. But there was that. And then finally, the last play that I'm looking for this week, I'm going to keep my eye on it. It's going to be NVIDIA. They have earnings and the premium's gone up. And what I'm looking for NVIDIA is to sell premium coming into the earnings. So I'm either going to do an iron condor or we'll sell probably calls or something. But the idea is contracts are up a lot. NVIDIA went crazy. There's a really, really good opportunity on there, or we missed out the opportunity. But now these contracts are going to be expensive. That means that it could be too expensive and we could short that premium and collect on it. So I'm going to be looking to do that, but those are going to be it. So I'm going to be watching the video in the morning and just seeing, but a secondary play. So again, I'm not really too sure. There's nothing that sticks out. I mean, Facebook and Shopify, we know there's going to be news tomorrow. and we already are set up for that. The next thing I'm looking at, again, HD and Walmart. I like both of these, and Walmart has earnings, so I'm going to keep my eye on those, but I want to see how things develop. I am going to look, like I said, Moderna. I want to see that on the short side. Going to keep my eye on it. Hopefully it plays out like Gilead, because again, anytime Gilead had these reports, you could kind of see how Gilead played out. Again, remdesivir, it would shoot up and then kind of come down every single time, because again, these valuations get crazy. So Moderna has held up a lot better. So that's going to be the problem, and that's what I'm saying, because if this might be expected, and if that's priced into the contracts, we won't be able to flip it. So watch out for that. I like them. SRNE, they had a little bit move after hours. Like I said, we caught them around $4, so we'll keep our eye on for it. But you guys see what's happening. The whole biotech gold rush, again, Moderna even shows that. Even Watch Guild, we're down on those plays, but I'm still holding those. And then watch Uber for the deal. They had the news, and we sold the covered call, but then it popped up on news that they're cutting employees and that they're pretty much doing a lot of cost-cutting measures, but eventually people are like, well, that might end up costing them more money. So Uber and their spending habits, and so we'll see. Watch J&J, again, value stocks, and take a look at what they did. They were killing it earlier, remember, when there was a lot more volatility. Now they've kind of been slowing down, but you're definitely seeing it move a little bit different, and it might stop moving. This one might be a good premium sell, but I'm going to be watching those. Again, NVDA, and then watch Abbott. Towards the end of the day, they started falling off. They ended up bouncing back a little bit. They're at an interesting point, and again, Abbott has been in the middle of all this vaccine stuff and everything they're doing. So watch those. And then finally, this is usually where I put up the trifecta, but I'm going to say watch FANG. I mean, watch TLT again. Keep that in mind with the bonds and everything, but it's a compass. And I said it today, TLT is like Tekashi 6ix9ine. It's a snitch. It will snitch and tell you when it is real. When everybody's moving to bonds and you see everybody running to fixed income, they will snitch on themselves, and TLT will show you. So TLT is not dead. Just wait till TLT gets a little bit more information. But in the meantime, watch FANG. Again, Google, they have the antitrust. That was something I forgot about. And again, they were very, very positive today, but they barely closed up. That they're still pricing in some of that negativity. And again, with what Zuckerberg said, I wouldn't be surprised to see that come into play. Microsoft isn't FANG, but watch them as well. But Amazon, Apple, I want to keep an eye on those. And again, Facebook as well, but just see where they're at. Even the Apple calls today were crazy. So use those as a gauge. And again, too, if we're going to get this kind of 1 month or 2 months of kind of calmness because of the Fed and everything else developing, those are going to be the companies that can move or that have been the strongest. So that's pretty much it. That is your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're hydrated, healthy, ready to go. Make sure you post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. And I need you to take the pressure off yourself, baby. It's all good. Relax. You see what's going on. We are positioning, waiting, sniping. We got many opportunities. Control the budget. The key is a budget. You set an amount and you can't go past that. If you remember that, you will be good and you will last. And it's better to be late than wrong. And we got to scatter the seeds and diversify, but let it come to you. You guys are seeing this, and this is going to be turning into a newsy market soon. When the markets get calm, we got to start hunting for information and responding. So I hope you're ready, baby. But the cult loves you. I love you. I'm going to see you in the morning. Let's go.